BTS's Jin and Yena caught red-handed, giving fans goosebumps. What does the friendly selfie mean? If you miss me, you're a loser. The caption line that shook the K-pop world and opened the door to new speculation. Is this just a collaboration, or the beginning of something deeper? Have you ever felt your heart stop for a moment just because of a photo? Have you ever stared at a portrait and felt like time stopped, leaving you hanging between question and hope with no answer? That's how millions of BTS fans and Yena fans felt when these two Korean idols, known for their vastly different characters and worlds, suddenly shared a snapshot that not only thrilled phone screens but also shook hearts. It all started from a single upload. No more than 6 photos. But 2 of them, 2 seemingly ordinary selfies, have created a storm in cyberspace. The selfie shows Jeannie elegantly dressed in a denim jacket and black tie, standing next to Yena, who appears fierce and seductive in a black leather jacket and denim top, almost like they are shooting a romantic movie poster that is teasing the boundaries of reality and fiction. Fans initially thought this was just a collaborative project. But is that really all? Loser, 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 loser. A sentence that, when translated, means, if you miss me, you're a loser. Don't do things we'll regret. This sentence not only sparked speculation, but also shook the emotional foundations of the fans who had known Jin as a mysterious but polite figure, as well as Yena as a cheerful and professional young idol. But what's really going on behind the camera? Why would Jin, who almost never comes across as too personal on social media, suddenly be willing to come across with that kind of intimacy, not just performing together, but the way their eyes looked at each other? The distance so close, and the body language that couldn't be lied to. Is this just art? Is this part of the song promotion? Or are we witnessing a moment too personal, too emotional, to be called just cooperation? Question after question hit like a tidal wave. Why didn't Jin re-upload the photo on his own account? Why was HYB so silent, as if not wanting to respond to the storm that had grown into a typhoon? Why did Yena use the term BTS Jin Sunbeam, which is too formal for a caption that sounds like that, personal, and what made it all the more confusing, why was there an unspoken laugh in Jin's eyes as he looked at the camera? Laughter we've never seen before. Is that a friend's smile, or more? Some fans began to dig deeper, linking this moment to Jin's activities since returning from the army. Doesn't he look freer, more brave? Haven't we seen him smile like this in a long time? Is this the result of a new maturity, or proof that someone has entered his world, touched the deepest part of his heart that has been hidden behind the lens and spotlight of the stage? Suspicions were strengthened when it was discovered that the location of the photo shoot was not in an ordinary studio, but rather on a private rooftop known to belong to one of HYB's senior colleagues. A place that is rarely used for idol filming and is known as the place where Jin often spends time alone before enlistment. Was Yena brought to that place on purpose? Was it just a coincidence? Mixed feelings begin to urge. On the one hand, fans want to be happy to see Jin smiling, enjoying the time after years of hard work, fighting in the pressures of career, military, and public expectations. But on the other hand, there are fears that cannot be avoided. Fear of losing the genie to a more private world, which is no longer shared in its entirety to the public. Shortly after the photo went viral, the hashtags #JinYena and #loser caption became trending on various platforms. Some cheered, calling them a perfect couple. But many more are silent, watching, guessing, because isn't silence the language of real fear? Yena herself did not seem to respond to netizens' comments. But on his latest live broadcast, he appeared calmer than usual. One fan even commented, "You look like someone who is keeping a big secret." And Yena just smiled. A small smile, but deep. A smile that makes everyone wonder, is this a happy smile? Or a smile from someone who knows that a big storm is approaching? It's not just that. Some army began to feel that this is not the first time there is a hidden signal. Back in the previous month, when Jin appeared on a variety show and was asked about relationships, he had a phrase, Sometimes you find people you're not looking for and they make you want to rewrite all your plans. At that time, everyone thought Jin was just being funny. But is it code? Did he know Yena at the time? Now, the spotlight is not only on Jin and Yena, but also HYB. Does the agency know about this proximity? Is this part of a big promotion strategy? Or are they trying to hide something even bigger than just collaboration? Why did Yena write "Don't do things we will regret"? Who is the we he means? Is that the lyrical line of the song? Or a personal warning to someone who may be caught between career and feelings? One by one, the fans began to collect small pieces. A fan pointed out that Yena and Jin wore very similar accessories on several different occasions, small silver bracelets that looked inconspicuous, but very distinctive. Is this a sign? A gift? Or is it just a coincidence? We don't know. Nobody knows. But one thing is certain, nothing happens for no reason in the world of South Korean celebrities. Every gesture, every photo, every caption is a message, and this time, the message is clear yet ambiguous. So personal yet on display to the public. So romantic or so disturbing. Are fans ready if this is not just a duet project? Is the army ready if Jin really opens his heart and someone like Yena gets into it? Will we see confirmation of Jin's first love? Or is it just a camera game, a caption game, a feeling game that will eventually just wear everyone out from expecting too much? Or maybe all of this is true? Could it be that the genie is indeed in love and wants the world to know, but in a way that only those who actually observe can understand? That night, the Korean sky looked darker, but in the hearts of millions of people, the small light of a selfie burns a curiosity that has not yet been extinguished. One photo, two faces, 3 words in the caption, and a million questions to which there are no answers yet. If this is just the beginning, then what does the continuation look like? And if this is the end, then are you prepared to lose the genie we've known for so long? Will you still be able to call yourself army if it turns out that Jin has already found someone he no longer wants to hide? Or could it be that we've just been waiting for the genie to allow herself to be happy, no matter who made her like that? Because after that upload, it wasn't just the fans who started to get nervous. Some of HYB's longtime staff have reportedly tightened oversight of Jin's schedule. Korean media, which is usually benign towards senior idols, also began to drop speculative articles with enigmatic titles. In fact, some variety shows began to cancel segments that would present Jin, citing an absurd reason: internal script problems. Internal problems? Or an internal crisis? Is there something you're trying to control before it explodes to the surface? One of the anonymous sources who is said to have worked in HYB's creative team revealed that Jin is known to be very private. He wouldn't let such an intimate portrait spread unless he wanted to. And Yena? He is known for being vocal, spontaneous, and sometimes too frank in showing emotions. So, who uploaded the photo first? The answer is obvious: Yena. But why would Jin allow it? Or does he really not know? Or even more frightening, did he know exactly what the impact was and deliberately let it go? And if so, who is the message really intended for? Don't do something we will regret. Is that a message to the public? For fans? For HYB? Or for someone who once entered the heart of the Jin and now has to accept the fact that his heart has moved? When examined further, it's not just the caption that bothers, but the timing of the upload. The photo appeared at exactly 1:13 a.m. South Korean time. A seemingly ordinary number, but very symbolic for ARMY because 13 is BTS's debut number. Is this a hidden message? Like a signal that Jin and BTS's relationship is now in a different phase. There are also those who realize that Yena does not use the hashtag collaboration or hashtag project in her uploads. Not at all. In fact, any idol who cooperates across labels is usually required to include cooperation information for commercial purposes and transparency. But not in that upload. There are only sharp, piercing, and ambiguous sentences that make fans ask, who is the real loser in this story? Speculation grew wild when some fans claimed to see Jin and Yena together at a rooftop restaurant in Seoul, just a week before the photo was uploaded. No staff, no cameras. Just the two of them. This information was never confirmed, but the fans who spread the news attached a photo of a chair next to each other, 2 glasses of wine, and a plate with the words, "Reserved for private guests." HYB herself declined to comment. Yena? It disappeared from the public for 3 days after the upload. No story, no life. Just silence. And Jin? He appeared on a radio broadcast without discussing anything about the upload. But the tone? Softer than usual. His eyes? Like holding something back. And at the end of the interview, when asked about life after the army, Jin only answered, "Sometimes life gives you surprises. Some are painful, some scare you, but some of TH." Someone posted an old video, footage of Jin once saying in an interview, "I don't want public relations. I'd rather be known for my music, not for who loves me." A statement that now feels like irony, because the world knows him precisely because of the love that was spread through the photo with Yena. But are we too quick to judge? Have we forgotten that time can change principles and love can change everything? And if there really is love there, do we have the right to refuse the happiness of someone who has given his whole heart to us for so many years? There is news that HYB is now designing a clarification script. Not to hide, but to muffle. They knew that if this relationship was left without context, the extreme reaction from the public could affect BTS's brand contracts, endorsements, and schedules that were already packed a year ahead. But how can you explain something they haven't even stated yet? How can you explain the taste? They're not just public figures. They are legends. And their every step is watched, loved, or hated. Even when they just want to be mere mortals in love. On the other hand, Yena began to reappear. But something is different. The makeup is more natural. His smile was not as wide as usual. He sat in on one brief live where he played Epiphany, Jin's iconic solo song. Someone commented, "Why are you singing this song of Jin Sunbeam? Do you like him?" Yena just smiled. Old. Then said, "Because it's a song that taught me to love myself. And maybe to love someone better." And again, no clarification. Just body language. Just a look in the eye. Only energy is difficult to argue with. But perhaps the most surprising was the reaction of the fans themselves. Some of the international army began to show solidarity. They spread the hashtags #JinDeservesLove and #ProtectYena, showing that this fandom is not uniform in its anger. That there is still room for understanding, for empathy. However, others can't accept it. Some make video edits with narration as if Jin is being manipulated. There are also those who spread the theory that the photo was the result of the work of a promotional team for a film or drama in which Yena will star, and Jin is just a pawn. They call Jin too smart to be trapped in love, but who said falling in love is smart? An army veteran from Japan writes a viral essay. "We love Jin because of his heart. And if his heart chooses Yena, we will learn to love that too. But we need time. Not because we hate Yena, but because for so many years, we were the world of Jin. And now, we have to share that world with someone we don't know yet." This post was shared more than 100,000 times, translated into 17 languages, printed and installed at BTS fan gathering concert in Bangkok, because what happened was not just a scandal. It's an emotional shift, a collective trauma that feels like a loss, even though it's not really a loss. And in the midst of it all, Jin remained silent. He appeared on a variety show, laughed as usual, made funny comments, but his eyes were not the same. Someone asked directly in the Q&A segment, "Oh, are you with Yena?" Everybody hold their breath. Jin just looked at the camera, smiled, and said, "I'm dating my life now. And it was a lot of fun." Wise answer. But also very painful for those who want to know more than just philosophy. Then what exactly is going to happen? Will there be direct recognition? Or will they have time to respond? Is this the beginning of a big announcement? Or was it Jin's last moment before he stepped back from the spotlight for a moment? Some speculated that Jin might go on hiatus, that he would give the public room to breathe, or rather to himself, to love in silence. And if that's true, are we ready? ready to accept the fact that the idol that we have been holding tight maybe is slowly breaking away from expectations. And if it's for real love, will you